Hello, my friends. I hope this finds you well. I hope you are taking good care of yourself, good care of those around you, and those you interact with. Today, I'm inspired to share a message that I wrote quite a while ago, but it is so relevant, I think, to the time that we're in, and it draws from the incredible strength of Helen Keller. It begins with a quote by her. All the world is full of suffering. It is also full of overcoming. What we pay attention to in any given moment becomes very important to us. The more attention we give it, the more significant it becomes, overriding our attention to all other things. If we are thinking about when things will get better, it brings anticipation and takes us away from our current opportunity to live today. If we are worrying about something, it brings anxiety and also takes us away from our present moment, one in which there may not be anything to worry about at this particular moment. The more attention that we give a thought, the more influence that thought has on our minds. When our attention is focused on something, our awareness is limited to those thoughts where our attention is focused. It just narrows that. When we are anticipating when things will get better, it's difficult to recognize the joys in front of us today. And there are many, even in these challenging times. So many people coming together, doing such wonderful things, caring for each other. When we're caught up in worry, it's difficult to be aware of all that we have to be grateful for in this moment. Understanding this, it's important to remember that whatever we are focusing on is never the whole picture, and we can develop the ability to redirect our attention, allowing us to gain more perspective and cultivate healthier, more beneficial attitudes as we engage in this day. Attitudes that are based in reality, that are not just running away from our current moment, but engaged in it. Sometimes we can become overwhelmed by our personal sufferings or the sufferings that we see in the world. The more attention we give the suffering, the more hopeless it can feel. We can fall into unproductive attitudes and habits such as blame, apathy, despair, or anger. As today's quote points out from Helen Keller, the world is full of suffering. In fact, all of us and everyone we'll ever meet have had our share of suffering and will continue to have more. We've also had our healing, joy, and deep connections formed from the bonds of the shared experience of overcoming struggles and hardships. This is our human experience. It's also important to identify suffering and empathize with others. We don't want to pretend it's not there. We really want to be there for ourselves and others. This empathy is so critical. How else can we overcome our suffering if we don't recognize it? However, if we focus only on the suffering, believing we are simply victims of it, we cannot see the compassion all around us. It is this compassion that empowers us to overcome suffering. With compassion, we recognize and understand that all of us have challenges and tragedies throughout our lives, not just today. We also have joys, opportunities, and resources that far outnumber those challenges and tragedies. Compassion does not allow or ignore suffering, nor does it allow us to let the suffering that we encounter overshadow the overwhelming goodness and strength in all of us. If we direct our attention beyond the difficult moments we might be attending to right now, we can see the inspiration and strength to overcome them together. So today I invite you to do your best to direct your attention to all the compassion that you see as well. Try to be aware of and notice how you and others are working to alleviate suffering, even in very small ways. The world is full of suffering. It's also full of overcoming. It's also full of compassion, inner strength, and resiliency. So let's attend to that.